Have you ever wondered how you can co-edit a Google Doc in real time? Or how online games feel so instantaneous? Well, a lot of that magic comes down to a technology called Node.js. Today, we're going to dive into the really clever, kind of counterintuitive idea that completely changed how the internet works, making it the fast, interactive, and constantly alive thing we use every day.
So to really get why Node.js was such a game changer, you have to rewind to the late 2000s. The web was in the middle of a huge shift. The old internet, that collection of static pages you just kind of looked at, well, that just wasn't cutting it anymore. We started wanting our websites to feel like apps on our computers, fast, responsive, and full of live updates.
But, and this is a big but, there was a fundamental problem. The servers that were running the web, they were built for an older, slower time. They were perfectly fine for sending you a simple web page, but they completely choked when faced with this new demand for constant two-way conversations. They had a massive waiting problem.
Okay, let's break this down a bit. As you can see on the left there, the old way, with servers like Apache, treated every single visitor like they needed their own personal employee. The server would assign a whole thread, which you can just think of as a unit of computing power, to each and every user. And the problem? That employee spent most of its time just waiting for a database to respond, waiting for a file to load from the hard drive, all while taking up a ton of expensive memory.
This analogy just nails the problem, doesn't it? This is what tech folks call blocking I/O. And I/O is just a fancy way of saying input-output, like getting data. So here, our waiter is blocked from doing anything else until that one table is completely done. It's really easy to see how this just doesn't scale. If you want to serve more customers, you have to hire more waiters, and your restaurant gets crowded and super expensive fast. So this huge inefficiency, this was the bottleneck holding the entire web back. And the solution? Well, it required a completely different way of thinking about how a server should even work. And that's where Node.js enters the picture. The secret sauce, the absolute core of Node.js, is this idea called non-blocking I/O. Instead of waiting, the server kicks off a task and immediately says, okay, you go do that and just let me know when you're done. And in the meantime, it's already moved on to the next request from the next user. No waiting, no wasted time. So, how does this actually work in the real world? It sounds kind of magical, right? This idea is the core breakthrough. To really get it, let's go back to our restaurant analogy, because Node.js just flips the whole model upside down. So, forget that army of bored, idle waiters. The Node.js model gets rid of them all. Instead, as you can see here, you have just one single master dispatcher. This one person is the hyper-efficient heart of the entire operation.
And just look at this workflow. The dispatcher is in constant motion. It grabs an order from a customer, immediately sends it off to the kitchen, and instantly turns to the next customer. It doesn't wait for the food to cook. It doesn't wait for the bill to be paid. It just delegates and moves on, knowing it'll get a little tap on the shoulder from the kitchen staff when an order's ready to go out.
And the result of this model is, well, it's revolutionary. That dispatcher, our single thread, is always doing useful work. The expensive part of computing, the actual processing, is handled super efficiently, and the cost of just waiting, which was the biggest drain on the old servers, is basically eliminated. It's reduced to zero. This is how one Node.js process can handle thousands of connections all at once.
This efficiency is so much more than a technical detail. It's a full-blown revolution. By solving the web's waiting problem, Node.js didn't just make things a little faster. It made entirely new kinds of applications possible. So the real question becomes, what can you build now?
This right here, this is the key question that Node.js answered for the world. When your server can manage tens of thousands of simultaneous connections without even breaking a sweat, what becomes possible? A whole new universe of applications just opens up.
And all of a sudden, you can build things that were pretty much unimaginable before. I mean, think about it. Editing that Google Doc with your coworkers. The server is handling tons of tiny, constant updates from everybody all at once without ever blocking. That's a perfect job for Node. Think about your social media feed, constantly updating, or online games, or live data dashboards. All of these are I/O-heavy apps that became practical and scalable, all thanks to this new model.
But the technology was really only half the story. The incredible rise of Node.js wasn't just about a clever server design, it was about the passionate, open-source community that just exploded around it.
I really love this quote from the source material. because it just captures that spirit so perfectly. The success of Node came from people deciding to work together, to build and share their code openly so everyone could use it and make it better.
And the engine for all this collaboration was something called NPM, the Node Package Manager. It basically became this huge public library of code. Instead of building everything from scratch, a developer could just grab these simple, pre-built modules for almost any task you can imagine. This idea of modularity, of building complex things out of small, simple parts, just massively accelerated innovation.
Ultimately, when you step back and look at it, the story of Node.js is such a powerful lesson. It proves that by identifying and eliminating just one core bottleneck, in this case, the simple cost of waiting, you can change everything. And that leaves us with a really fascinating question for the future, which you can see on this final slide. What are the hidden bottlenecks we face today? And what new way of thinking, what new breakthrough is going to be the thing that solves them?